We're fortunate today to be sharing some time with the man, a great man. I'm not going to totally steal your lines, but once I give the mic over to you, once I give you the ball, you're going to run with it. It's going to be amazing.
Touche.
But the man is Jeremy McBryde.
Love, brother. Love.
And so you are many things. You're a chef.
So they say.
But I know there's an asterisk next to that, so we'll get to it.
Why don't you include the asterisk?
But you're a musician.
Love music.
You're an entrepreneur.
100%.
Very much know what it's like to hustle. You know what it's like with the struggle meals, as you call it, which I love. I love that line.
Got to get it out the mud.
And you are now a TV personality on the Food Network, the 2023 Hot List. Saw it on Deadline, saw it a lot of places.
Appreciate you, bro.
But it's amazing.
It's
awesome.
So you've been paying attention to the media, clearly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to. You're good stuff, man. It's no accident that you're on this show. None whatsoever.
Touche.
But to get back to the chef, you're not just a chef. You're a Flava Finessa.
Correct.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, I love the pronunciation that you took your time with it, and it was very clear.
Thank you. I worked on it.
Flava Finessa.
Finessa. Explain a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, all right. So all the food that I cook, it comes from family. It comes from memories that I've had previously. Like I find my inspiration because unfortunately a lot of my family members passed away, and all my memories are generally with them are tied to food. So it's recreating that hamburger that my father used to make, recreating his chili, recreating that casserole that my mother used to make, which you call enchilada casserole, which is one of the best food items ever invented.
Yeah.
You know, I can give you the rundown on that later. But yeah, that's 100% what it is.
And did all these people come from Cleveland? Like your family and everybody, they started in Cleveland?
Yeah. So I was born and raised Cleveland Heights, Ohio. My dad is from Alabama and my mother's from Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, so heavy South roots. I would go to Texas every summer to visit my mom.
Where in Texas?
Man, country. I'm talking about Fairfield, Texas.
Probably Where's Fairfield?
I know between Houston and Dallas. All right, I know it's a lot of space in there, but I'm talking about Freestone County. I'm talking about country. Talking like
a small town.
Yeah, half a mile between neighbors. We got land, whole bunch of cows. You know what I mean? Cattle guards and all that kind of situation.
Yeah.
I'm a city boy, but I definitely got the country experience just growing up down there, and that's really where I actually found a lot of love for different types of cuisine that clearly aren't where I'm from. You know what I mean? Like the summer sausages. I had the best watermelon I had in my life. You know what I mean? In the country of Texas.
Okay.
Seas down. So yeah, 100%.
So the reason why I think you're going to be great for this podcast, and the reason why I wanted you to come on, and I feel so fortunate people listening, watching right now, is because...
Shout out to y'all, man. Beautiful spirits, each and every one of you. All right?
And he's not fucking with you when you do that.
That's a fact.
It's just the way you are. You bring light to the room. You really do.
I appreciate that, brother.
So you have a lot of experiences to share. So how do you feel? Because coming up as an entrepreneur, somebody coming from Cleveland to come into Los Angeles.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Culture shock in a lot of
Dreams
ways.
and stars in your eyes, right?
Of course. Of course.
But how did you learn? Like, how do you feel about people sharing information, to help others?
That's everything, bro. Like, you can't take none of this information with you. Even if you have the sauce, somebody else has to assemble it. You know what I mean? You can give them the recipe, but it don't mean it's going to come out the same. You understand me? No, I love
so good. That's so good. You always got those. When you talk, I just want to be writing shit down just so we can make T-shirts. Like, you sell merch out of your mouth.
Respect. Well, bro, that's why I rock with you so tough, man.
Yeah, that's true.
See?
That's true.
You the yin to my yang.
Hey, thanks, man. It's because I'm shorter too. We look like a different version of twins, huh? Like you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm Danny DeVito.
You stupid.
But as far as like sharing of information,
correct.
How do you feel about that? How do you think people should be about giving information, especially to people who are trying to start businesses, startups?
Listen,
you know
man,
what I mean?
No, that's key, man. Information is everything. I'm all of the ideology that if I made the mistakes, why should you have to make them? You know what I mean? Like I said, I can give you the sauce. You might not even necessarily follow it. I can give you my experience, and hopefully me giving you my experience leads you on your path, or can help you, can right some of your wrongs. You know what I mean? Like I said, the mistakes that you made, you don't necessarily have to make them because I already made them.
I get it. I mean, and even with my own kids, but I feel like this when I'm working with founders or talking with founders, anybody doing a business, doesn't even matter. I just don't want them to have to go through something if they don't have to.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That's what it's about. But but some people are hard-headed, man. Some people have to experience things how they experience them.
I'd like to think that both of us are a little hard-headed.
Yeah, definitely.
We get in our own way a little bit sometimes.
All the time.
I know I do.
For sure, without a doubt. But that's a part of the process, man. You gotta. identify that you're getting in your way, because a lot of times when you get in the way, you don't even realize you're getting in it. So the fact that you can identify that, yo, I'm getting in my own way, that's the beginning for sure.
So how about this? Let's take it back a little bit. What was the first business you started?
Ever in life?
Ever in life?
Oh shit! I used to sell candy and CDs.
What?
That was my own first personal business. Yeah, that was like 8th grade, 9th grade, and all through high school.
What was your markup? Like,
oh man, listen. So my mom, shout out to my mom. I had the best mom in the world, Dorothy Elizabeth McBryde. Rest in peace. I love you so much. But she was she was my 7th grade science teacher. So like, she's been in education for 35 years before she retired. But long story short, I always had to do math sheets. You know what I mean? Math sheets, like simple addition, subtraction.
Oh, I know
addition.
what you're talking about. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I literally had to do those every day.
Okay.
And that gave me kind of like a love and understanding of numbers. She knew that, so she knew that I can apply that to a business, because my father, he was a financial analyst. So
okay,
I kind of get it from both sides, but she put the ball in my hand. You know what I mean? She bought me my first pack of candy, which I believe from Sam's Club. I think it was $18, and you get 25 pieces. And I was selling silly, Sour Patch straws. You familiar with those?
Yeah, remember Sour Patch straws?
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
So my markup on those was $2. I was selling those for $2 a wop in high school. So each pack that I get, I pretty much flip it, you know. And after I flip it, I just give her a little money. Or, you know what I mean?
I like that. Your mom's like, I'm getting that passive revenue.
The thing is that no, she didn't even want it though. You know what I mean? So
I get it.
She like, I wouldn't even half the time I honestly wouldn't get it. She'll just buy me candy just so I could sell it. You know what I mean? So I can maintain. So,
but it's almost interesting because that's what was happening,
right?
But you understood and respected that you got to pay her cut.
No, 100%. That's standard. You know, you can't fuck up the plug, man. All right.
So with the CDs,
yes, sir.
How did that work?
All right, so like,
were you just BMGing it? Remember BMG?
I do remember BMG.
So you're getting like the introductory 10 or 20 CDs?
No, not even like that. All right, so I grew up. I feel old, but I grew up in a time where a website called Limewire was pretty active.
The way you say that, you make it sound like it's so old. Like BMG is way before Limewire.
No,
so when you want to talk old, you're looking at my salt.
Come on, man. No, not at all, Chief, man. You as young as you feel, man. You feel me?
So I can turn that right back around on you, baby. But you said Limewire. Like Limewire is so light years ahead of BMG. I dated myself way back. You know what I mean?
No,
Brandy was even ordering BMG CDs. You know what I mean? Come on. But anyways, so how'd you get them? So you did LimeWire.
Yeah, so LimeWire, BearShare,
BitTorrent.
BitTorrent, yeah,
Napster?
for sure. Napster would give me viruses. I always caught the viruses off Napster, man. But yeah, man, just identifying the market. I asked for a CD burner. I think it was the 9th grade for Christmas. That's all I wanted. I mean, just give me the CD burner. You know what I mean? I had the whole vision. I was like, yo, I got the music, you know what I mean? I know where to get it, you know what I mean? I know how to mass produce it. Let me get it out to the people. And yeah, bro, I was selling CDs, man, my entire high school.
I think the statute of limitations right now. So we golden.
It's past 10, so we straight. That's the only reason I'm talking about. Y'all ain't got to come find me. It's all right.
It's all right.
Money's already spent. But yeah, man, and yeah, I just rocked out. I was just known as the CD man, so everybody would always come to me. And like, once you're known for something, which is very important even in business now, you know, and just even knowing back then, simplicity. Like I stuck in my lane. Like I wasn't trying to do too much. You know, you could come to me to catch all the new SQ5 and SQ4. Those were Lil Wayne's Squad CDs that I sold the most of when I was back then. Yeah, that's mixtape days, bro. So yeah, man. But like I say, a lot of those tactics I can apply to the businesses that I started now. Is just about identifying a concept or a thing. Keep it simple as possible, but just make sure you execute at the highest level, you know? So going back, shit, my CDs were on 10, you feel me? I had the little cover art, you know what I mean? I made it, you know what I mean? I made sure that, you know, my writing was clear, you know, no chicken scratch. Because I don't know if you know, a lot of people used to sell the burn CDs with a lot of chicken scratch. You don't even know exactly what you're listening to until you put it in, but
you actually cared for what the product.
100%.
Yeah.
And that pretty much got me started, man, on a hustle, man. And I just picked up multiple other hustles, some legal, not legal.
You don't have to go into too too much detail as far as things, but
No,
I know
no
you
doubt.
were like a bouncer.
Yeah, oh hell
Like,
yeah, bro.
what is some of the range of just random stuff that you did?
Bro, like from a bouncer to a model to
Well, it shows.
no, respectfully.
Yeah.
I know I show that calf. I see them calves. Bouncer.
You're
to
missing
model.
out, podcast listeners.
Man, actor, bro, like doing post-production for films, like
What'd you do in post?
that's pretty much the primary reason why I moved to LA. I moved out here to go to recording engineering and film school. So like creating like post-production and stuff for like movies. Like I love orchestral sounds, you know, so I love to create in that space. So that was pretty much the launching pad for me. And that led to like relationships with District 78, who were like, they were doing a lot of music on MTV, and I was just creating music for them as they were putting it on TV. And that just led to other relationships that I had as creating music. And like music has always been like a foundational piece to me, you know what I mean? Even if I'm not putting it out, like I love making it, you know what I'm saying? So
Well, it's such a part of the culture.
100%.
And brands, you can create a whole brand behind just a feeling and a vibe, right?
5,000%, bro.
So going from just the range of things you did,
Correct.
what ended up leading you towards, I don't want to say, it definitely wasn't your first success.
Right.
Because you definitely had, peaks and valleys and everything.
Yeah, it's life.
But with the restaurant,
Correct.
as far as Comfort LA, that's where
Yes,
it
sir.
kind of really, you seem to go in a different direction with a new trajectory.
No,
Would
for
that
sure.
be fair to say?
No, 100%, 100%. So, like, just being out here, like I said, I was like doing bouncing private security, bodyguard work, and those whole late hours, So, me especially being downtown, like I always wanted food, but like the quality of food I felt was just lacking. You know what I mean? It was only like one spot, and I think it's called LA Cafe, that was really open on the late night side that you can go and get a moderately to decent meal. So I identified a niche, and to me, and please don't take this the wrong way, LA for what it is, the food is not good. Like it does not equate to the prestige that it holds, in my personal humble opinion. You like me, we can fight about it. It's okay.
Well, I think your one friend, Mona,
Yeah.
she worked, she's a journalist with Eater LA.
Correct.
You guys are aligned on a lot of the sentiments surrounding LA food culture.
Yeah,
Would that be fair to say?
Respectfully, shout out Mona. She's a star in the gym. I love her with my whole heart. No, that's valid, man. So like in my particular situation, like just identifying that I feel like late night food was lacking. So long story short, I wanted to do something in the space. I really wasn't sure like how to go about it. And this was before people were like, before a ghost kitchen existed. Before people.
So what year was this? Just so kind of give us a point of reference.
Was 2014.
Okay, that was definitely way before ghost kitchens.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, and I knew I wanted to do something in food, but I wanted to bring something that, like I say, I'm a Flava Finessa. I want to do something that really meant something to me. Mm-hmm. So I started to develop a concept for a food truck when I was going to do Polish boys. And you don't know about a Polish boy unless you're from Cleveland, Ohio, all right?
So educate the people.
Okay, I'm going to give you the rundown on this. Probably be the most delicious sandwich that you will ever cross your palate. Trust me. What it consists of is a Polish sausage, because Cleveland is the Midwest, and it's like heavily Polish influence in a lot of ways, Polish, German, Italian, so that comes through in the culture of the cuisine. So start off with a perfectly seared and or fried kielbasa sausage. You need a solid vehicle to hold it. So on top of the 10, a nice Kaiser bun. On that thing, you will have the most delectable of barbecue sauces. All right. On top of that thing right there, you also need a layer of coleslaw.
Okay.
Mayo-based coleslaw is the I guess you could say the natural way to consume a Polish boy.
Like a Hellman's mayonnaise.
Correct. Mayo-based slaw, and on top of that thing, some fries. And it can't really just necessarily be any fries. Most Polish boys come with those prepackaged frozen fries. Okay. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that.
What is it, Orida?
Orida adjacent. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, it was the value pack of fries.
Oh, okay. I got you. Sam's Club value pack. No, I get it. Yeah.
Straight up. And then another solid douse of barbecue sauce on that thing. Uh-huh. So you're getting barbecue sauce 2 ways. You wrap it tight. The thing is to wrap it. You got to leave it wrapped for at least 2 to 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Just so all those flavors can absorb, especially into the bread. Yeah. Take a bite of that thing, and it could potentially change your life. That's on God.
It sounds like it. I'm
salivating. I'm trying
to
to tell you, man. It's really one of the most delicious sandwiches. But It's only found in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's only found in in the black barbecue spots. You know what I mean? Like it's not you got to really be of the culture, you know what I'm saying, to really understand what a Polish boy is. People come from miles around to test out different Polish boys. And the only way you can really get a Polish boy is if you know about it. You got to go to these certain barbecue spots, and 9 times 10 they in the hood, you know? Yeah. That's where the best food is, you know? Yeah. The most impoverished know how to do the most with what it is that they have. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I feel like my whole life is chopped. You know what I mean? I got a little bit of this, got a little bit of that. How the fuck do I make something magical? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
look at ramen, baby.
Come on, man. Shout out to ramen.
It's all leveling up because of it.
Shout out to ramen, for sure.
Because it was a struggle meal, to your point. Definitely. But I mean, the culture has embraced it in a different way now.
Very true. Very true. Now ramen is top tier eating, man. You know what I mean? It's really extremely.
You want to talk about margins? I mean, come on.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing. If you got that sauce with ramen, your money will stretch. It's even better than pizza. Pizza has one of the best margins as far as per capita, as far as large I guess you could say large scale cuisine, if you will. Okay. It takes to make a large 24-inch pie is like $3. You know, what does it sell for? $32, especially out here, $35
in LA.
Come on, bro.
Dude, pizza by the slice get you at $8.
That part, exactly. So
at least it's a big piece.
So no, true. And that's just also something that I go back to, man. Identifying something that people want, you know, and it can be monetized with the lightest lift. You know what I mean? I'm always looking for niches. Like, how do I take advantage of this space, but like be able to keep a concept aligned, and also at the same time, I mean, it has to be what the people want at the end of the day.
Yeah, because you like say, and I'm sure you've seen this a lot, right?
Or,
a good friend of ours, Adam, actually shared this experience where,
shout out Adam,
right? Adam Weisblatt. So there was this taco stand that's been in, I think, Boyle Heights for decades.
Yep.
Or it was Highland Park, one of the two. And it was this Hispanic gentleman, you know, didn't speak a whole lot of English. And then his son kept coming up and he's like, hey, we got to put this on Instagram and do this and that. And it's just kind of getting by.
Right.
But the moment that the son came in and put the new kind of flavor on it, spin on it, it brought a whole new thing to it. But it was about the community.
Right.
So do you see that happening in a lot of ways with food?
Yeah, 100%. Like that's everything's going to the internet. You know what I mean? Like even like I said, I can only speak to my experience. Like when I started in the restaurant space, like Instagram just started for real. You know what I mean? And like we were just like scratching the surface on like how to reach. And like those were the days where you can get like 1,000 followers in a day if you do something. Like now it's so heavily monetized that you have to be on that shit. You know what I mean? You have to be on the next wave. You have to be able to create these things that resonate with everybody, because everybody's watching, needs the ASMR. Everybody needs those tight food shots. You know what I mean? Like it's just a standard that has been set. You know what I mean? Not saying that you have to necessarily stick with that, but because I don't stick to the script. You know what I mean? When I see people doing something, and this is where sometimes I get in my own way. As we spoke about, I'm totally off that shit. You know what I mean? If it's something that I'm seeing everybody's doing, it's like, all right, that's cool. I see what they're doing, but I'm gonna do it like this. You know, so that can work two ways. That if you can identify something that is popping and being able to apply it to your own variation, then that's a winning recipe. Or you can just follow the script. You know what I mean? And at that point, you're just like everybody else, but you might be able to garner those views and that audience and that attention that you were looking for. So it's really all about you.
Because it's a vehicle for storytelling.
100%.
And if you're able to tell a story, it really does come back to branding and culture.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, it's not that you're a capitalist in a certain way, but especially when it comes from a good place, right?
Right.
Especially from the culture. So when I think of skateboarding, right? We were talking about it before. If you were skating in an active area such as Lockwood, it didn't matter. There was kids of a lot of different ethnicities.
Right.
And when it would be an active area and something might pop off, you know, people would come through and be like, kid, you got to bounce.
Right.
But they would look out for you because they respected the culture. And it was two different cultures coming together. You know, mind you, we can disregard the fact that there was some illegal stuff going down.
Of course.
But it's the power of it, right?
Definitely.
But now we're seeing ways, and we're getting older, right? And so we came from that generation that had a lot of that.
Right.
And people are trying to identify themselves through music, through clothing, through so many things. But it's not just about the capitalism of it. It's really an identifying factor, right?
100%. 1,000%.
So when you're talking about doing the Polish dogs, How did
Polish
that get
boy.
to
Let's
Polish
get straight, man.
Polish
Educate
boy.
me. Polish boy.
Polish boy.
Yep.
My
you say
bad.
that. If you say that in Cleveland, they might shoot you. All right.
Okay, my bad.
Say the wrong name. All right. Polish boy.
Maybe I was thinking of the Pittsburgh side of things because that's a big Polish community in Pittsburgh.
No, it is.
Which is close to Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
We're not too far. We're a Greyhound away.
Right. 100%. Straight up. Less than 200 miles.
How did you get from that to Comfort LA?
All right. So, like I said, going back, I was developing the concept for the food truck, and long story short, I was bouncing across the street from this clothing store, and the owner of the clothing store is a brother. He was always pretty cool, you know, and he told me that he was throwing pretty much like a mixer for like black businessmen downtown.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, word. I'm like, shit, man, let me cater that thing, man. I cater it for free. You know what I mean? That's pretty much apply. I just want to, you know what I mean, get out here, man, see if I can meet somebody, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And long story short, I did it, and I did. I met my business partner, Mark. You know,
Shout out to Mark.
no, shout out Mark Walker, the strategist, man. That's my dog right there.
He's got an interesting history.
Oh yeah, man, bro been in a lot of stuff for sure, man.
He was a consultant for like one of those bigger agencies, like a McKinsey or a McBain.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely big dog in the space, man. But long story short, he was pretty much watching the reactions of all the people who were eating my food. You know what I mean? Because he's Presbyterian. I mean, Episcopalian.
Pescatarian. We went Presbyterian pescatarian. I mean, there is still a fish involved, Jeremy. So you're not too far from there. There's a fish.
Touche. but he's pescatarian, so he didn't actually even eat anything that I brought. You know what I mean? Like I said, he was basing it off the reactions of the people who were eating. Yeah. So long story short, off of that, he approached me and asked me like, what was I trying to do with the concept? From there, he said he had access to a kitchen space.
Okay.
Which one of his neighbors, Sarkis, who owned I forgot the name of the spot, Daily Planet, I feel like it was in the Arts District. That's not the name of it. It's totally wrong. But shout out Sarkis. Sarkis had a kitchen, which he was using for like a lot of his prep. You know what I mean, for his primary restaurant, and he pretty much allowed us to rent it out. So that's when the Comfort LA pop-up started. You know, like I said, start off as a pop-up, and we were only late night. We were rocking from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. because, like I said, those were the hours that I was up, especially being a bouncer and always up. It's like, I know it's no good food out right now, so I want to take advantage of this.
And you knew how to handle a crowd.
Very true, 100%, which is everything. You know, crowd control that's nothing more than being able to communicate. You know what I mean?
It isn't. Everybody thinks it's about aggression.
Nah, not at all.
But
total opposite.
Like Snoop Dogg said it once when he was talking about it in the Defiant Ones, when he's talking when Suge Knight made that comment at the BET Awards on the East Coast.
Word.
And he's like, we have to match aggression with aggression, but aggression with love. And I thought that was really powerful because he was right. You have to deliver and match the same intensity and tonality.
Right.
But you can change the message.
100%.
You can change the narrative.
100%.
That in itself is branding in so many ways that people like him, they see it in a different way.
Word.
And then they're the ones who set the standards, right, that everybody's trying to catch up to.
Very true.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But something you said resonated with me.
That's spot on, brother. 1,000%, man. So, long story short, acquired the space. We knew wanted to do a late night joint, and yeah, literally 3 weeks after we met, started first pop up, which is Comfort LA.
Why did you choose a pop up to start as opposed to getting a space, renting a space? I know the answer, but I think it's going to help educate the people listening.
Chose the pop up because personally that was the only option I had. But for real, it gives you the ability to create a concept without the heavy lift of having, you know what I'm saying, of like fully, because technically we were renting the space, so we still rented it out, but the lift is a lot lighter, you know what I mean? If you can identify your market and be able to really touch your market, you know what I mean, it gives you an opportunity to grow and opportunity to scale, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. You know, we were late night pop up, 8 to 3, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday we did a brunch from 12 to 4 or some shit like that. And
so what were your other income streams at that point in time?
Oh, it was just bouncing.
So it's just bouncing.
I was just getting
baller on a budget.
Oh, 100% balling on a budget. Like, and that's really the philosophy for everything. Even if you got it, you don't necessarily have to spend it. You know what I mean? There are ways, because what happens when you don't have money is that your real creativity has to kick in, because that's really all you have. You know what I mean? Like, and it's good. Don't get me wrong. Capital is king. You know what I mean? Capital takes you to the next level, but humble beginnings, you know what I mean, create solid foundations. You feel me? So understanding that, man, I wanted to be able to repurpose all the ingredients I had so you're not buying more stuff and being able to create something consistent. And yeah, man, I put together the first menu, man, and which is pretty much still the standard of the concept today, which is not your average fried chicken, all organic, and it's also being able to hit those certain niches. Like, for example, like everybody's more conscious about what they're eating, so I wanted to make sure that, especially LA, I wanted to make sure I use all organic ingredients. You know what I mean? Because that's a hook. When somebody hears organic, their ears already perk up and they already look at you in a different light than they would if you just said I do soul food.
Yeah.
So like understanding that and understanding I wanted to keep a tight menu, those are pretty much the crux on which the concept was developed, you know. So started off not your average fried chicken. My signature, that sauce.
What about the Big Sexy?
Oh, the Big Sexy, that came later down the line. That was a later development, you know what I mean, from pop-up stages.
So the way you name your food, it's an experience itself.
100%, man.
It's like, it's awesome. It's so great.
God bless you.
You know what I mean?
I do, man.
Like, who would not smile ordering a Big Sexy? Like, anybody walk in, even somebody who's super pissed off, like, I want a Big Sexy. You know what I mean?
No,
it's kind of what somebody moves.
You can't be mad saying the Big Sexy.
It's like that silly branding on the back of the trucks that say, can you say Ross Swiss without
Straight
a smile?
up.
You know what I mean? So where did you go to learn about this? Like, how did you learn to do this? Because what you're talking about, you ever read The Lean Startup?
I have not.
No. So the reason why I asked that is because if you had, then it's like, cool, you learned it from a book. But because you hadn't, how did you figure that out? Because that's a book that talks about what you just said of having very little and getting creative.
God.
Where'd you learn?
The big man upstairs.
He answered back?
Yeah,
dude, you're going to make even more money if you can get people to text him.
The thing is that he's always answering back, but are we listening? You know what I mean? It might not necessarily be words, but he shows you, man, you know, and are you walking the path that he opens up for you? And I really feel like I just walked through, just moving through spirit, you know what I mean, to develop it, because that's really all I can accredit it to, you know what I mean? I wasn't in the space, but I guess you could say I did understand business, like I said, because I started in business from the jump, you feel me? So that foundation was there, and it's really just a replication of what I did previously. Like, I stuck to the script. Okay. I'm doing this. It's simplicity. I'm staying in my lane, but I'm gonna provide a quality product. So,
and how important was it to have a co-founder?
Co-founder is everything, because at the end of the day, I am a creative. You know, it's very, 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 and I can't say enough varies. It's very, 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 very important to identify people who are, I guess you could say, who are good at what you lack, if you will. You know, so that's 100% why me and Mark work. You know, he's a business. He's analytics. He makes shit happen. You know what I mean? He knows how to build. He knows how to scale. I'm the creative. You know what I mean? He assisted in bringing my vision to life. You know what I mean? He assisted in instilling those foundational pieces. You know, that allowed us to scale. You know, allowed us to go to these different levels.
It sounds like you're able to remove ego. Like, how are you able to do that?
It's tough.
That's hard, isn't it?
No, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, it took some removal of ego on both parts, you know, because I'm a Leo, you know. I mean, when I see something, you know, this is how I want to do it. This is how it should be done, you know. Yeah. But just learning to relent and learning which battles to pick and which ones to fight for, you know, that was all a learning process. That's not some shit you just start off the gate with, you know what I mean? You have to be malleable enough to understand that, you know what I mean, you're not always right, you know, and B, a lot of people know a lot more than you. So like, I just try to keep an open mind with that. And that was Big Bro, man. Big Bro came with knowledge, and he hit a lot of things on the head, you feel me, that made sense. So, and he showed, man, he did more than just talk. Like, he took action in a lot of things. And I'm all about that, you know, because especially in this city, so many people talk shit, you know what I mean? So many motherfuckers are bullshit, you know. So just like people, like, I'm all about action, you know what I mean? Like, show me, and he definitely
I see what you're
showed.
saying. They're just going around saying that I'm going to do this, but they actually don't do follow through.
Don't do that. Not even just follow through, or just be on bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Just like not with true intentions in mind, you know what I mean? Because I dealt with both spectrums. That's of that, valid. You know.
So how do you ignore that noise? Like, how do you get through that and still focus? What's something that worked for you? It's
tough. Something that worked for me is reading a book on emotional intelligence, like EQ over IQ. I can't remember the name of it, and I have it around here somewhere.
We'll put it in our show notes.
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
But there's a couple really good books about emotional intelligence.
100%. Just understanding that, and just understanding that your emotional intelligence is more important than how much you know. You know what I mean? Because if you can read a room, if you can balance energies, then you don't have to know it. You know what I mean? Because you can talk to somebody who can convey the part that you can't.
Yeah, because it isn't hokey. Because at the end of the day, you are an individual that is servicing other individuals with hospitality. You have a blank canvas to tell your story, to create this experience. And it was a pop-up.
Yeah, man.
And until you moved into a brick-and-mortar.
Correct.
So, yeah, you have to think of things in that way. You have to think, and it had your touch. So when people say, "Oh, it's made with love," it was silly, but no,
that's real shit.
It's actually real.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
Because naming a chicken sandwich the Big Sexy isn't an accident
at all.
You know what I mean?
It is a sexy sandwich.
It is a sexy sandwich.
Man,
well, it's only because of the chef.
Touche. God bless you. Look at him. Look at this guy. Trying to take me home, man.
Don't worry, I'll buy dinner. So how did you go from just the pop-up to the full-time brick-and-mortar?
Man, that was God again, man. Shout out to Big Guy Records, man. He really be pulling them strings, man. Really be pulling them strings,
I'm telling
man.
you, I'm not lying. Almost every time you talk, I just see a T-shirt and I see merch. That's all I see.
Straight up, man. So, bro, we rocked the pop-up, man, for 10 months, and the shit just blew up, man. Started catering for like the likes of LeBron, you know what I mean?
What drew him in? Because those are big names, man.
I don't know, bro.
I think you dropped the name back there.
John C. Riley, man. Shout out to John C. Riley, man. He's one of the first celebs that pulled up, man, to show love on a consistent basis, man.
He has, I don't know if you know his story with Silver Lake.
Nah, I don't.
So John C. Riley had lived in Silver Lake for a long time. And when he got big, everybody was like, oh, he's going to peace out like everybody else. He stayed.
Shout out to
because he loves community.
He's solid,
he loved his community.
He's a solid dude, man. He's a solid dude, bro.
But go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
And no, bro, just like I say, just being open on the late night side, and being in Arts District, which is Skid Row Arts District, whatever you want to call it. Like it's a big community over there, and a lot of people go through there, and that community really embraced us. So they were bringing all their folks through. Shout out Jess at Bootleg Theater. One of the earliest supporters. She brought so much. She's the reason John C. and a whole bunch of other faces in the heavy in the acting world have come through.
So how did those celebrities correlate to your success? Did they post about you? Or?
Not even. It's just, it's the validation that you feel when somebody, that you see on the screen comes to your space. That's really what it is. That's just ego stroke. You know what I mean?
But it feels good.
No,
it
for
does.
sure. For sure.
And you got to celebrate those little wins.
No, you do. You do because those are nothing but I guess you could say confirmations that you're on the right path, you know? 100%. So,
but how do you stay even keeled? So stuff's popping, right?
Yeah.
Things are going good, but how do you stay even keeled not to buy into your own hype?
I guess it's how I was raised, man. Like I'm all about like showing love. So even though shit was going that way, like I'm deflecting, you know what I mean? I'm trying to shine light on the people that are around me, you know what I'm saying? And figuring out different ways that to keep you know what I'm saying, keep me grounded, I deflect a lot. It's hard for me to take praise, man. Like I receive it, you know what I mean? But it's hard for me to like really live in that shit, even though I know I'm a fucking star. You know what I'm saying?
So one thing, and the reason why I stammer a little bit because it makes me smile.
Right.
So you and I were talking one time. And I think I was talking about, I went and got my hair cut by Fernando.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
shout out Fernando.
That's what you did. And it was amazing because it was so simple.
Word.
But it made me feel like, oh man, I got a good haircut guy. Like, my boy, he can cut hair.
You did.
But the way you did it, it's such a human interaction.
Right.
You don't know who Fernando is.
I don't.
You know what I mean? And most people, you're just having a conversation and it's just you're listening.
Right.
And you hope they're listening, right? You hope it's a reciprocal conversation. Right. But when you did that, it opened my eyes to a whole new way of taking active listening and being a part of my story. It's almost like you're a part of Fernando. You never met him.
Nope.
But it made me feel better that I made such a good choice in my haircut. It's these little things. And maybe I'm overthinking it.
No. That's valid. That's valid.
It made me smile. It made me smile so much that later on in the day, I thought about it and I revisited it. I'm like, damn, dude, I wonder if Jeremy's doing this intentionally. Because I don't know if you ever read that book by Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. He's a negotiator.
Okay.
He does a lot of things very intentionally. And he's on a master class telling people how to negotiate.
Got you.
And I'm wondering, does Jeremy look at life that way? But then again, even if you did, it comes from a good place. It seems like, you know what I mean?
100%, bro. Like I lead with love, man. That's really all I have, man. Nobody's perfect, so don't get it twisted. I'm not a fucking angel who just walks around here with wings, but love is pretty much the guiding factor in my life, man. Like I said,
and it's helped you in business.
100%. You know what I mean? Like I said, most of the family members that meant the most to me have passed away. So because of that, like you have to know the power of love, know that love will live on. You know what I mean? And know that you are protected. You know, that's really just how I move, man. And how much knowing that I have a team of angels up there who are paving the way for me. I know I have a loving support system, you know, and I know that at the end of the day, all we have is love. So why not lead with it?
So it sounds like you have a good support structure.
Correct.
Which it seems like you couldn't do what you do in your business.
No.
And, you know, now with being a TV personality.
Correct.
Without that. But but if a lot of your loved ones passed away, how did you learn to curate the people you have in your life?
See, when the loved ones passed away, the foundation I leaned on was the friendships that I built. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful, extremely grateful for my two of my best friends who I consider brothers, you know, from Cleveland, Ohio. They moved out here pretty much to help me because they believed in the restaurant. They believed in not just that, but they wanted to get the fuck out of Cleveland. You know what I mean? Because it's cold. You know, it's definitely cold. So I ain't gonna give them all that. But
I spent time in Dayton, Ohio. I know you know cold.
You definitely know. So yeah, man. Yeah, my brothers came out here. You know, none of them have like, or yeah, no, that's a lie. Bernard used to work in Wendy's in high school. So none of them were really in the food space at all. But like I said, they believed in the concept and they came and they were willing to do whatever was necessary to help, you know what I'm saying, take it to the next level. So awesome. Yeah, no, that foundation was everything. Like Comfort LA wouldn't exist if it wasn't for my brothers, Bernard Shanklin and Malcolm Edwards, you know, my brother DJ Gus. And of course, the first assistance I ever had in the food space was my brother Cordero Davis, you know what I mean, who owns a beautiful wine and pizza bar called Crossroads LA in Hawthorne.
Not to be confused with that Crossroads vegan spot.
No, not vegan. No, it's in Hawthorne. He has probably the best pizza that would ever cross your palate, you know. Beautiful beer and wine pairings. And yeah, man, he's even taking being able to open that spot. So like I feel like I had an extremely solid foundation, but it wasn't just that. Like everybody who we grew with has built something. You know what I mean? And they were able to take. Because shit, I was a test dummy, you know. I mean, we learned so much building comfort that people were able to apply the things that they were learning to the ventures that they went on to next. So
it sounds like that cliche: "As the tide gets higher, all ships rise."
That part right there, bro, for real.
Things are going well with Comfort LA.
Right.
And you tried being an actor and things like that. How did the Food Network thing happen?
Man, so all right, man. Rome was not built in a day, man. As much as social media make you look like shit happens overnight, it doesn't. I promise you. So, like I said, being in the space as an actor, like I'm naturally so I've been told, I'm naturally very good on the camera.
You are.
So God bless.
And anybody watching, I'm sure they can feel you. You come right through that screen, man.
Respect.
Just so you know, when you were talking about Brussels sprouts on The Best Thing I Ever Ate, my missus and I were watching it. We're like, damn, we got to go get us some Brussels sprouts. Because the way you sold these because everybody else is talking about like decadent foods,
right.
You know, all these things. You're just imagining like, yeah, of course that's the best thing you ever did. And then you come out of the gates with that leopard, with like that Miami open shirt.
Sir. Oh yeah, I left the taco meat up today, man. I didn't want to give them too much sexy.
But you were like, oh, Brussels sprouts.
Yes, sir.
And we're just like, I'm all, what? Brussels sprouts? But the way you sold it,
just so good.
It was the thing I wanted the most out of that whole show.
Oh, okay, dope. Okay, I definitely did my job, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that confirmation.
And that was Sunday Gravy, right?
Yeah, Sunday Gravy, man. Best Brussels sprouts in the world, man, as far as I'm concerned, man. You know, if you want to fight me, at me if you want to fight about it. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. But yeah, bro. My fault. Did I answer the right question?
We went on a tangent.
Okay, yeah,
just because you got so much personality.
Oh, thank you, my brother.
But the question was, how did you go from Comfort LA to the Food Network?
Food Network, yeah, that's right.
How did that happen?
Yeah, so like I said, man, having that background in acting was dope. You know what I mean? Just me being naturally good on camera is dope. And when I first started Comfort, I I was selected by Dutch Master because they were doing a tastemaker series, right?
Okay.
So, Dutch Master is a cigar company, but they were like trying to get on some Red Bull shit and like create like content outside of the space.
Okay.
So they did a highlight featuring artists, chefs, and I think it was one more. I think it might have been music or something. But long story short, I was selected to be one of the faces for the food segment.
Okay.
And I got to shoot a dope little vignette with Chef Evan Funke was in it, man. Shout out to my dog. Solid dude right there. And a couple other tastemakers in the space. This was like I said, this was early on. This was like 2015, 2014. So the vignette was dope. You know what I mean? Okay. And a production company just got a hold of it, and they reached out like heavily, like, yo, we really want to.
What year was that?
Work with you. This is 2015, had to be, or 14, 2015.
Really?
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
And then 2023, you're on the hot list as a sophomore for the Food Network.
That part.
That shows you
this
it wasn't built in a day.
No, sir.
Damn.
No,
so
sir.
you put in the time.
Definitely put the time in.
So a quick little side tangent question about that. You're doing successful Comfort LA.
Correct.
You can see how things are rising and growing. Obviously, it complements everything by building your brand, especially with Food Network.
Definitely.
But it's almost like you have to reset because you're starting from the ground level with them.
Yeah.
But how do you keep up your motivation to do that? Because in a sense, you're killing it in this one area, right? But then here you're humbled again because you're starting from scratch. You know what I mean? How do you balance those two?
It's the balance comes from, I guess you could say, the foundation, but just understanding that, man, I am far from finished. You know what I mean? I'm not a complete product, bro. Like, I'm always learning. I can learn from the homeless man on the corner. It's knowledge. It's knowledge and everything if you're willing to absorb it. So from that standpoint, you know what I mean, the Food Network, like, that shit can be intimidating, especially being in a space with such heavy hitters as like Alex Garnacelli. You know what I mean? Shout out to Alex, man. I love that woman with my whole heart.
I love a story when you guys were singing.
I love you.
Yeah.
And him.
That was so dope. It was so good. It was so good. It was cool.
Yeah, she's been a major supporter, man. I'm indebted to her forever, man. I really feel like she's the reason that I'm on a lot of this Food Network stuff because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for real. I mean, because my first experience was on her show, Supermarket Stakeout.
So to go back, sorry, I know we went off on a little tangent. So you went from Dutch Masters.
Yep.
Production company spotted you.
Correct. We put together a sizzle. Food Network saw it. They loved it. They just weren't sure like how they wanted to work with me, but they just stayed in contact from 2015. You know what I mean, until now. So we were developing stuff with them.
But they kept putting you in those little guest spots, or
yeah. So the guest spots actually didn't start until what year we in? 23?
Yeah,
Probably
2023.
2020, for real. Like
during the pandemic or right before it?
Right before, I feel like.
Okay.
I think it might have been 19. Yeah, like right before the pandemic, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah, it took that time for them to I guess, you know what I'm saying, identify a market, but like actually get me to get on camera to see what I really look like in that environment. And
so when did you meet Alex? On that
was
first
the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the first one. And I've been on every season of Supermarket Stakeout since. It's like 4 seasons now.
So going back to when you met Alex,
correct.
Like how did that happen? Like what happened?
It was just I guess you could say magic. She saw my light, you know what I mean? She loves how I speak. She loves the verbiage that I use, as do you. And she told me that I should do I should do an ebook, not ebook, but I should do like not necessarily just voiceover, but like a vocal cookbook. You know what I mean? Just me actually explaining like recipes. She said she thought that would be a dope idea, and I'm still gonna work on that, Alex. I promise.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what I would love to do? And maybe we do it for like a little side piece of content for this podcast episode.
Let's do it.
I want you to pick out one of Alex Garnacelli's recipes, and I just want you to narrate the recipe on how to put it, because I think it would be so dope.
I love it. I think I might have just found a new language.
You know what I meant? Dude, I'm thinking about it, and I was like, if I was in the kitchen I was cooking, and I hear just Jeremy
narrate your cookbook.
He'd be like, oh, you got to like
straight up
something you would say. I just want to hear it now because I know whatever I end up making, even if I fuck it up,
It's all good.
it's gonna taste amazing.
You damn straight. You damn straight.
Like I'll be
brother,
a better
'cause you
person
made it.
after I did this. After hearing you tell me how to make that. But that's a really good idea.
Yeah, man, it is. And I promise, Alex, I'm working on it. I'm working on it for sure. So yeah, but like I said, she just championed me, man. She just made sure I was on every season of the show. You know, I mean, I have been on all 4
she
seasons.
had that kind of juice.
That's big dog. Like she big dog, big
Well,
dog.
I'm a fan. I am a fan.
She Bobby Flay level to me in my eyes.
Yeah.
She's Bobby Flay. She's what's the other bro over there? Guy Fieri. You feel me? Like she big dog, man, for sure. And but
Is it weird every time I think of Guy Fieri, I immediately think of Frosted Tips?
Respectfully though, I get it. He made that shit very
pulls it
noticeable,
off.
man. No,
You
he
know,
does.
He made a brand out of Frosted Tips.
100%,
Like
man.
he took that away from like all the boy bands.
Definitely, bro, man. Shout out to bro, man. The trailblazer, man, to say the least, man. He's making a lot of plays in the space. But yeah, man. And that led to other things like I said, I did the best thing I ever ate. You know, the most recent edition of that. 4 episodes of that, and that's really what it is. It's just kind of like massage me into the viewership of Food Network. You know, getting people like kind of acclimated to my face. You know, and kind of like, you know, putting me in the fire. And each time I feel like I'm on camera, I'm getting better. You know, I only say that because Alex told me the last time we shot together a few weeks ago that same thing. That like,
What is it that you're doing better?
Comfortability and being able to articulate what it is that you're actually consuming. And you know,
you're not scripted, are you?
No, I don't like scripts. I don't do scripts. The only way I can find success is if you let me do a variation of me. You know what I mean? I'm cool with bullet points, but I need to get to the point how I get to the point. So
do they do scripts on Food Network?
No, not at all.
Shows?
No, not at all.
So
I
you
take
really are.
that. Yeah, I take that even back to acting. Like even when I was like, because I had a very successful web series I was a part of. Like she was like a fucking cult classic. You know what I mean? Over 5 million views. You know what I mean? Of a vignette style, but what I was shooting, it was never scripted. It was always just like, yo, this is what we need to talk about it. Y'all get to it how you get there. Yeah. If I have that free range in any situation, I feel like I'll be successful. But once I have to stick to some script that you're telling me to say, and that's just my defiant nature, I feel like, man. Like, I don't need you to tell me shit. Like, I can figure this shit out myself if you let me. But that's more ego. I'm working on it. Well,
at some point, too, it's also playing to your strengths.
True.
Some people like it, some people don't, but it's true. You think about a character that people find and it becomes a markability thing. Right. Like when you think of Vince Vaughn. Mm-hmm. Vince Vaughn has done a number of movies and he has some range, and same thing with Will Ferrell. But both of them found something that they're able to recreate in films, and they've done several films in similar characters, right? They've found their pattern, they found their way, and it resonates with the audience, even though it's a different story.
Very true.
And from an artist's perspective, you're like, but I want to do something different. Like Will Ferrell did Stranger Than Fiction.
True.
Right? And
hilarious.
So I get it, but if it works,
right?
You know what I mean?
Stick with it. No, I get it. 100%. You know what I mean? Because one thing you can't fake is authenticity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like all that fake shit, like you can put on a face, but that shit is gonna fade eventually. You know what I mean? Being your authentic self and coming to a space in your authentic self is a recipe for success as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? You can't. It's only one of you. It's a whole bunch of them's, but it's only one of you, man. So like really understanding the power of you is extremely important, and just me understanding that and being in this space with all these giants, you know what I mean, Antonio Lofasas, you feel me, the Jet Tills, these people who are highly regarded in the space, like what keeps me, as you say, grounded is knowing that I'm here for a reason. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be in this situation if I wasn't built for it. So how can I learn? How can I continue to get better so the next time I'm on camera, I'm better than I was previously?
Yeah. Damn, man. It sounds like you found joy in your process.
100%. 100%. Because, you know, it's difficult, man, when you not necessarily searching for purpose, but like when you kind of like searching for what's really going to make you happy, you know what I mean? And where does your light shine the brightest? You know what I mean? And really having the nuts to go 10 toes down into that, you know what I mean? Or ovaries, either or. It's not.
We're an equal opportunity hustler.
Opportunity, straight up, whichever one you got. But
whichever one you got.
But yeah, man, just like really understanding, man, it's no accidents, man. If you're in a room, you're supposed to be there. So move like you're supposed to be there.
I love that.
Respect.
I like that. So what do you wish you would have known when you started? What would have been something that if you could talk to you, say, hey, man.
Okay. If one thing, even though you identify somebody who may be stronger in a space than you are, you should still get you should still get acclimated to that space as well. You shouldn't just focus on what your strengths are. You know what I mean? You should always be, and that's really like the primary thing I can take away from that is just like, just because this is somebody else's job doesn't mean you shouldn't know that job as well. You know, because sometimes, especially if you work in a team setting, and you know, like I say, I'm the face of the company. I'm the, you know what I mean, I'm the one that kissing the babies. I'm the energy. I set the tone. But there are also things on the back end that you have to be privy to, that you can't just leave to the other party to do. You know what I mean? Because life isn't promised, man. Like, shit can end tomorrow, you know? So like, just being fully versed in every piece of whatever business you're in was something that I would have just took more seriously when I first started, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of later. That's one of the primaries.
Because it doesn't sound like you're trying to do everybody's job, but if you know enough of it, you have respect for it.
You have respect for it, and you can take over if something is lacking. You can identify a discrepancy. You can identify how this can be done better because you know how it works. I'm very visual, like with everything. Like, I'm hands-on. I'm systematic. Like, I have to create a system to understand something, you know? And just like, and even when I started, I didn't know that shit. This is things that I learn about myself as I grow, as I continue to develop. So, like, just knowing that now, you know what I mean? If I could go back, that's something I would have definitely applied to. Because one thing I can do also is that, like, sometimes I get complacent with things, you know what I mean? And, like, and I see the vision, I see where it's going, but it's like, I'm just cool with it being right here, you know what I mean? And not settling for that complacency because, you know, success can breed complacency if you let it, you know? And 100%. So
we see it time and time again.
Straight up.
That's why new people come up and take over the old guard.
Straight
the
up.
incumbents.
Straight up.
Because they're willing to go where they're no longer comfortable.
1,000%.
When they used to be the trailblazers. Yeah.
No, you hit the nail on the head, champ. And just like understanding that. But like I say, it's no accidents. It all happens in time. You know what I mean? You gotta grow better to know better. So
it sounds like during your process, like, or from the time you were younger till, you know, growing up and doing more things, you went from being open to learning, because it seems like you've always been open to learning, to seeking out learning.
Correct.
Which 100%. Are two different things.
No, very true.
Right?
Very true.
And that's what it seems like. Is that valid?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, thanks, man. This is a podcast, so we got to say
something. Said it better myself. And I hope I'm not cussing too much for y'all out there, man. But I'm actually trying to
story.
I'm actually
just trying to match you, just so you know. I know you are.
Tone it down a little bit.
Hey, no, be you. You know, remember, be your authentic self.
I'm always
Come on, man. Eat your own dog food.
But just being on TV, it also has me privy to not use as many.
That's the cool thing about this.
Plays as I normally would.
This ain't TV, this is HBO, baby.
Damn straight, baby.
That's some good branding, though, right?
Facts.
Oh my God.
Facts.
So, but man, it sounds. I could honestly talk to you for so long.
My dog.
We do talk a lot, actually.
We definitely do.
But I hope people found value in this because you're sharing so much information.
Better, motherfucker. I got dropped a whole bunch of gems, man. If you ain't digging them shits up, somebody else will. I promise. Which camera? I'll look at all the cameras and let y'all know. These are valuable lessons, and this is a beautiful thing that my brother's doing here, man. You know, and I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful for the time. I'm grateful for the energy.
Yeah.
My dog.
Let's switch gears.